Good morning, comrades. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Nürburgring. We are here together here with George for another Toyota Gearbox adventure video. But this time it's not the Yaris, it is the GT-86. As you have seen previously, we dismantled the gearbox from GT-86 and brought it to our friends at REM at the Nürburgring to disassemble it because we simply don't have the time for it. And what we were expecting or hoping what would be just a maintenance, so to say, issue, a quick resolution, something that was caused by misshifting or like the bad operation of gearbox, something that we've expected multiple times already with the GT-86, turned out to be something completely else. So here we have the GT-86 gearbox already disassembled. What we were expecting just to have to do is the regular basic maintenance, replacing the synchro rings, but actually there is a lot more wrong with it. There is actually some extra issues, or better explained, there is something missing. So maybe you can explain, George, what we're looking at and what we're not looking at.
Well, we'll cut straight to the chase basically. So these springs and ball bearings, there's usually 3 of these and these little collars here, which sit behind the sleeves, which these sleeves the selector fork clicks onto. And
this
then
is the selector fork?
Yeah, this is the selector fork. Clicks onto, and then that moves up and down, and as you're selecting gear, it moves and latches into the synchro.
And engages the gears.
Yeah, essentially, yes. So when this was put back together, this is all that came out of one of them, which was for 4th and 5th gear.
Oh,
yeah, basically, on that shaft.
Basically what we were experiencing, the issue that it was crunching on the 5th and 4th gear. And something, I tried making a video last year where I was explaining why I was not driving the cars this often, which eventually I made that video with the Yaris because the car was pretty much close to undrivable. So I will insert probably a fragment of how the gearbox was working at the end of last year. And the barrier actually, which was then bit of gearbox issues there. The 4th synchro, you can actually hear it cracking, and the 5th, it goes very bad in gear because again the car has suffered a lot by unfortunate driving, and thereby was kind of clumsy at the beginning of the lap until I got the hang of it that you really need to push and wait for it. But 4th and 5th, we found out the issue that it's actually not the wear and tear, it's actually the lack of details.
So obviously with these missing, the sleeve is then not sliding up and down on the shaft properly. So basically as it's trying to get it in gear, you're mashing the hell out of it, which is causing damage elsewhere. So it's obviously causing damage onto the synchro rings, it's causing damage on the selector forks, which it has done on all of the sleeves. It's caused damage along the edge here on the teeth. And there's one of the teeth missing on the synchro as well, which is here. Yeah. Which is snapped off, if you can focus. Yeah, it's caused damage on. There's so much. Like I say, all of the sleeves.
I think there was
on the selector fork. You've got damage on the edges of the selector fork. Not entirely sure if it's completely related, but the end casing as well. Not sure if this is where there's damage here, which I'm not sure if it's been caused by them trying to put the box together not correctly, or if it's because of damage from this. But either way, there's a lot more damage than there should be.
Than should have been.
Literally just from assembling it wrong.
Could it have been, just to give benefit of the doubt, that it was assembled correctly but it fell out?
No.
So it's impossible?
It doesn't fall out, no.
So it's just like it was not put there in the first place and that's it?
Yeah, basically that. So yeah, it's less than ideal because now what would have been a simple, the synchros are fucked, let's change them, has now turned into 3.5 grand gearbox build. More, probably. Probably more, yeah.
If we want to replace it.
But that's minimum. So, yeah.
So now we need just complete new gearbox.
Basically need a new gearbox, yeah.
Yeah, because if you grab just a toothbrush and you decide to break it apart, it's easier to buy a new toothbrush than just like to try to fix that. And the same works with the gearbox. Well, I mean, it is a way of explaining.
It's a labour time for...
Of course, and parts.
Yeah, exactly. So the parts, obviously there's more parts now. The labour time to then fit said parts is now going to be like double or triple than it would be just to replace synchros.
But now we have also another point that we need to mention is the fact that we actually cannot reassemble the gearbox in the correct order.
No, we can't.
Because there is a big issue that we found out here. What you see here is the sealant that has been applied to, well, to stick the gearbox together. Now, this, so to say, liquid sealant, I would say, which eventually does not become liquid anymore, has a better characteristics than the usual paper sealant that you would see. The issue that we have here is the factory sealant, which is made out of paper, has a precise type of thickness, exactly the same thickness that would be applied to it. Now, when you make it slightly bigger because you apply the silicone, or smaller, exactly, then you don't have the same distance between the components anymore, which negatively affects the working of the transmission.
Which sets the gear set, it offsets the gear set so the bearing doesn't sit in the race, basically. It will sit either proud or short, which then in turn, you've got a gear set sitting this much different. Obviously that's a big exaggeration, but you've got it sitting offset, which then causes premature wear on loads of stuff.
Yeah, so you can see lots of wear here, the wear here that we told earlier. So when you would usually disassemble the gearbox, you would just know, okay, this is factory sealant, the factory gasket, that's the word I was looking for. The gasket, you put it on there and that's it, and that should be fine. Or alternatively, you would measure the factory gasket and then you know exactly, okay, these values I need to work with when reassembling the gearbox. In this case, it's been disassembled completely wrong. And of course, we could bring it to the dealer and then they would have some dealer how-to books, but then that's going to be another labor, another time. So at this point, it just, well, it can go on the wall of shame and we can get another gearbox. I guess that's the only reason that, well, the only solution, unfortunately, that we have here. Right, and I think that's pretty much it that we can say about it.
We'll probably find a used box and then bring it to these guys to open up, have a look, see if everything's all good on that box.
Yeah, so now moving on to the solution, as we said previously, at this point it makes more sense to grab a used gearbox from GT-86. Maybe you have one, let us know, because we looked already online, or actually George looked already online, you can get them between 1,300 to 2,000 euros, you said?
Yeah,
roughly more or less. Then additionally we'll just open it up just to make sure that it's everything okay, and then put it back together, put it under the car and hopefully drive. But this is just another, I don't know, an example of how things can go wrong and how a very small but delicate mistake in terms of putting small things, just like a couple of ball bearings together, not in the right order, actually not putting them together, a part which probably costs a couple of euros ends up costing thousands of euros. And that's, I think, all I have to say for today. So a very short and easy video. Stay tuned for upcoming updates, but yeah, this is why, I don't know, like, I'm sure you can make your own conclusion out of it. There's lots of emotions here because this gearbox has been reassembled 3 times by the same
And not only that, all the reviews that we've given every time, like we've done a couple of videos, and even Robert said, yeah, the gearboxes are so temperamental. Maybe not. Maybe they've just been built wrong the whole time.
Exactly. So all the experience that we had. Now, from the back of my head, the company in question has not been featured on my channel or when the work has been done to the gearbox. I know that when the first money shift happened back in 2017, we brought the car to RT Motorsports, to Alex, who also helped to rebuild the ring tractor. He has nothing to do with it because he only replaced the engine, and after that maybe once just the complete gearbox, but just to get him out of the equation, he has nothing to do with it. And we hope we will come up with a decent resolution, but unfortunately also the hard reality can happen that the company in question going to say like, well, this was not us, we didn't do it. But in any case, we're just showing you what happened and hopefully everything will turn out okay. And we're looking forward to do some more laps with the GT-86. The good news, however, to end on a positive note, the Yaris has been finished and we're waiting for a call from the dealer any moment right now to go and pick it up and start breaking it in on the Nürburgring. Not breaking it, but breaking it in. So there's that. We can do some laps again. Yay!
Laps again? I have laps it, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, I haven't done laps.
Yeah, you have to lap.
Well, last year.
Yeah, last year.
But not with the mods.
Oh yeah, not with the mods, no.
Yeah, so we need to do that.
So hopefully some dry weather.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing that we're almost at 10 minutes. Might as well make this a 10-minute video instead of 8 minutes. So the Yaris is going then to Stahles for the cage.
It's going to Stahles for the cage next week. which we've had to try and beg him to get it in sooner rather than later, because it's all last minute. So it's going to go in. I'll be going down there to help him as well, if you're available as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Then we can
that would be nice.
Probably extend that. Then it goes to Manthey to have the rest of the start. Yeah, basically.
Seats and harnesses. And
yeah,
and put it all in papers.
And everything's in the papers and we can rent it. So
excited for that. And regarding this, as mentioned, Gearbox new clutch is coming in as well, and then we can do
the clutch is already at Apex, so
exactly.
I've not fitted it yet though, but
yeah, then we can do rock scissors papers. Who's driving which Toyota?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't bother me. They're both fun, so
yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, it's also Robert's birthday next Wednesday, so he's gonna have the Yaris for his birthday probably. We'll see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Well,
are we at 10 minutes yet? Is that
yes, we are. So that's enough
yes,
nonsense.
ad rev.
Yes. Woohoo.